Case study number 2. How fast can you lose custody? I had a client who lied, and because she lied so bad, she lost her custody. And this is how. A winter evening, both spouses are celebrating Christmas, her and her wife at family events, and they get into a fight, and my client decides to take the kids, file for restraining order, get the restraining order, and run away. Wife comes home to a different place, not their family home, their original home, finds there are no kids, files for restraining order because she's so distressed that the kids are not there and her wife is not responding. She also gets a restraining order. Contradicting restraining order trial with a different lawyer wasn't on the case. My client testifies, and the judge decides that her testimony was not credible because she was saying she went on Christmas Eve to the store, bought Coca-Cola, but in reality she bought wine. And the testimony from the other wife was more credible that my client was drunk. And that's why the argument happened. She didn't buy Coca-Cola, she bought wine. So for some reason, I wasn't at the trial. I don't know what happened, but for some reason the judge decided that my client is not credible. I now in hindsight know because my client lied. I created this book to help you understand the divorce process without getting lost or without getting a heart attack. You can buy it on Amazon in all formats, including audio format. So what happened, fast forward, I get into this case. She's unhappy with her previous attorney because she lost and she thought her restraining order was so solid. It wasn't. And we go and do the things that the court ordered to do and try to reverse the script. She goes through recovery, she goes through supervised visits, then supervised exchanges, and then I get the call on Sunday. Hey, my wife hit me after the exchange. So after the supervised exchange was lifted, she alleges that her wife hit her. And at first I wasn't really buying it because the other wife, you should imagine, she's a fragile looking teacher. And it's not like a fragile looking teacher cannot hit, but the injury was a nosebleed and broken nose almost. And I asked my client, what happened? And she said, well, nothing special. I was just dropping off the kids. And then she turned around and hit me in my nose. It doesn't make sense. Why would someone do it? Well, I don't know. So that was the red flag that I noticed. And I told her that it doesn't sound very credible. And of course, I want to be supportive of my client. And I felt that, there must be more to this. And so I invited another lawyer to this case. And I said, well, tell him the story. And this other lawyer said, either she's lying brilliantly, she should get what she deserves, or she's telling the truth. So I was hoping she was telling the truth. Didn't explain her story very well. So then we file for restraining order, we get it. And then we have day 1. Everything goes fine. And then, of course, day 1 means you get only 3 hours. So we run out of time and the judge is believing our client. Now I have another counsel and sets another date in 2 months. So you would think, it is what it is. And so instead of doing nothing, I get another call. Hey, my ex threw Drano in my face at an exchange. Gee, really? Yeah, I called police, I called everyone. And a day later, she's in jail, calling me from jail. I'm like, what happened? Well, we have a hearing on Monday, I need a criminal defense attorney. So what happened is, it turned out she did it to herself after the exchange. Because when she did it, what she didn't notice, that when it happened and she called police and fire department and everyone arrived, police started investigating. So one officer went to see her ex to ask her questions. Another officer started to look around. And because nowadays we have cameras everywhere, so he went across the street to the neighbor's home and found out the footage. And the footage showed that she did it to herself. And from that moment on, of course, the case was over for her in terms of custody. She lost custody. She lost visitation. This was it. She lost her credibility with this court for a very, very, very long time. So the moral of the story from this case is court and judicial system in general, a lie has a way to come out. And now, of course, her story about the nosebleed and that allegation that her ex did it is also now in question. How can you believe that? If she did this to herself, then she must have done that to herself. And so, yeah, lies have short legs. Keep that in mind. All right, see you later. Bye.